Just as we can do images by reference, we can do links by reference too. There's actually a couple ways we can do links, right? So we did a link already, right? We did a link kind of this way, right? Where you've got the text inside of square brackets, right? And then the URL, right? And so we can see by me removing the exclamation point in front of this image, I've basically changed it from an image tag to a link tag in Markdown, right? So that exclamation point is really basically the only difference between a link and an image. But there are other ways to do links as well. So, I mean, one of the most commonly used websites is Google, of course. And, I mean, we could do google.com or whatever, right? And then you could add in the http://www.google.com. But depending on your opinion, you might feel that this isn't really necessary, right? Like, why am I kind of typing the same thing twice? I mean, it's fine. We could have it say google.com instead of the whole thing. But what I can also do instead, if I just want the URL, and I don't want to have to like show the whole, like, I don't want to type it twice, I could just put it in these angle brackets, right? And that will also give me a link. Now, it will show the whole URL instead. Oh, there we go. I typed it wrong. Only 3 W's. I could do that instead. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these kittens. There we go. So it's a little bit easier. Okay. And that will work too. And this will go to Google, right? Just as this would go to Google, right? So that is another method that you can use to create links if you want to, if you don't necessarily want to have a special title. If you just want the URL to serve as a link, that's fine as well. Now, there's another way too. I can do a link by reference just like I did with the image, right? And it's set up pretty much the same way as the image is set up. So if I take this image tag that I have, I basically just delete the exclamation point, it's now a link, right? The setup for the image and the link is basically the same thing. It's just, do I use an exclamation point or not? And then at the bottom, somewhere else, I need to have the number referenced. So if you didn't see the previous video, by reference is really pretty simple. First, you type in the title of whatever it's going to be. So image of a black and white kitten is what I had. Go ahead and throw that back in there. And then in here, I type a reference number. Right, and now this is referring to something further down, right? So in this situation, it's taking me to this kitten.png. Now both of these are referring to the same thing, and that can be a little tricky, so keep that in mind too, that's how they work, right? I only have one reference number, so if this is going to go somewhere different than that image, then I might need to add in a new reference. So if this was instead go to Google, right, and then I put in another reference for Google, that's going to be problematic because it doesn't know which one is for which, right? There's no real indicator whether this is referring, well, rather whether this is for an image or for a link. So we would need to make sure that we add a new reference number. So this one goes to Google instead of referring to the same as the other one. So if we check, there we go. So that's linking by reference.